Good morning, all. Today I'll be taking classes on antimicrobials. The most important group of antimicrobials is beta-lactam antibiotics. Among beta-lactam antibiotics, we have subgroups, that is penicillin, cephalosporins, carbapenems, and beta-lactamase inhibitors. So coming to the basics of these penicillins are the first group of antibiotics next to the sulfonamides, which were started initially. So these are the drugs which are there since last more than 5 decades, and we all know most of the features of this beta-lactam antibiotics. That means most of the advantages, disadvantages, all these things. So without these penicillins, the humanity couldn't have survived so long, because penicillins have been life-saving for so many diseases. So coming to the basics of this beta-lactam antibiotics. So beta-lactam means there is a ring, beta-lactam ring. Okay. So this penicillin, the beta-lactam ring is what we are showing is in a circle with a dotted line. This is the beta-lactam ring. So we have this penicillins, cephalosporins, carbapenems, and monobactams. All these are the structures of beta-lactam antibiotics. So the broadly all these four group of antibiotics are included under this beta-lactam antibiotics. So in dental practices also, the most common antibiotic which is used in the OPD setup is amoxicillin and metronidazole. So amoxicillin is a orally given beta-lactam antibiotic. Okay, amoxicillin is a penicillin group of drug, and it can be called as amoxicillin is a orally given beta-lactam antibiotic. So beta-lactam antibiotics, we have this we started using these antibiotics since Alexander Fleming started this bread mold, which can be grown on the petri dish. So it was since 1928. Later, Chloride chain and associates, they began to work at isolating and synthesizing large amount of penicillin. Since 1941, they introduced this antibacterial therapy, and penicillin is there since 1944. So how these fungus can kill these bacteria? So these were actually found out accidentally, but later they have refined the processes of synthesizing, and they are now extracting from the fungus penicillium chrysogenum. So it's a sulfur-containing thiazolidine ring fused with beta-lactam ring, to which side chain is attached at position 6, and that mainly the activity is due to the 6-amino penicillinic acid. So hence the name here is beta-lactam antibiotic. So it's a sulfur-containing thiazolidine ring. So in the antihistaminics also, we get the drugs which are built upon this thiazolidine ring, and in anti-helminthic drugs also we have this thiazolidine ring. So among most of the drugs which are there in the pharmacology, there is very much importance to this thiazolidine ring. So how do this beta-lactam antibiotics work? So beta-lactam antibiotics are for the bactericidal drugs. That means they kill the bacteria. How they are able to kill the bacteria? They will be able to kill the bacteria with the help of cell wall synthesis inhibition. So they interfere with synthesis of bacterial cell wall. So cell wall is composed of peptidoglycan ring, and this glycan consists of 2 amino sugars, that is N-acetyl uronic acid and N-acetyl glucosamine. Okay, So we are now actually speaking about the gram-positive bacteria, which is more than 100 layers thicker. Okay, we are now speaking about the gram-positive bacteria, which contains this N-acetylmuramic acid and N-acetylglucosamine. The peptidoglycan residue are linked together forming long strands, and the UDP is split off. So where the actual action takes place is on this penicillin binding proteins. So penicillin will bind to this transpeptidase enzyme, which is actually involved in the formation of this N-acetylmuramic acid and N-acetylglucosamine. So this peptidoglycan chain formation needs these enzymes. Okay, so these are actually the proteins. Enzymes are basically proteins: transpeptidase, carboxypeptidase, and endopeptidase. So all these three are inhibited. Once these are inhibited, what will happen? So the bacteria will not be having perfect cell wall. That means it will have imperfect cell wall. And inhibition of this carboxypeptide enzyme will lead to spherical cell formation. And the endopeptidase inhibition will cause filamentation and cell division. Okay, so we are now understanding about the basic mechanism of action of these beta-lactam antibiotics. Okay, so they basically interfere with the bacterial cell wall synthesis, and bacterial cell wall has the primary chain, which is mainly formed by this N-acetylmuramic acid and N-acetylglucosamine. So these gram-positive bacteria have more than 100 layers of this chain, and the chain is formed with the help of the basic enzymes, that is carboxypeptidase, transpeptidase, and endopeptidase. So our penicillin will come and bind on this transpeptidase. So binding on this transpeptidase will cause imperfect cell wall. Binding on this carboxypeptidase will cause spherical cell formation, and binding on this endopeptidase will cause filamentation and cell division. So based on all these actions, what will happen? The cell wall will be imperfect. Once the cell wall is imperfect, all the cell contents will be drained off because of the imperfect cell wall, and eventually the bacteria will die. So beta-lactam antibiotics, the final step is the cleavage of the terminal D-alanine of the peptide by transpeptidase. This process is known as transpeptation and is inhibited by the penicillins. So this cross-bridging provides necessary strength for the bacterial cell wall that is inhibited. So beta-lactam antibiotics inhibit the transpeptidase so that the cross-linking does not take place. This will cause cell wall deficient forms of bacteria, and so there will be bactericidal action due to the content of the cell which are going out. So there are various subtypes of this penicillin groups. So the primary one, we call it as penicillin G. G stands for gold standard. It is a narrow spectral antibiotic. So primarily to gram-positive bacteria and few other cocci. So mainly we are using it against streptococci, Staph aureus, and some of the gram-negatives such as Neisseria gonorrhea and Neisseria meningitis. So bacilli, majority of the bacillus anthrax, that is, should remember the anthrax fever, which is caused by biological warfare used bacillus anthrax, which is also having anaerobic properties. So commonly we use this beta-lactam antibiotics for upper respiratory tract infection. So upper respiratory tract infection commonly is caused by this streptococcal infections, that is pharyngitis, otitis media, scarlet fever, syphilis. All these infections we use this beta-lactam antibiotics. So Treponema pallidum, which is causing this syphilis, okay, that also does not know any resistance. So it is also drug of choice for diphtheria, antitoxin therapy. So what are the adverse effects we can expect with this penicillins? So penicillins are the drugs which are known to cause anaphylactic reactions, but not on oral route. Okay, penicillins are the drugs which can cause anaphylactic reactions, and most commonly the anaphylactic reactions are through the parenteral route, that is intramuscular injections or intravenous injections. Orally administered drugs will have lesser side effects, or oral penicillins also have a lesser side effects. So what happens if they are when they are given parenterally? So there can be small reactions as local reactions, or maybe very severe reactions such as the anaphylactic shock. So local irritancy and direct toxicity is there. Pain at the intramuscular site of injection. Nausea on oral injection can be there. Thrombophlebitis can occur at the injected venous site. So hypersensitivity reactions are common with this penicillin group. They can be as simple as rashes, itching, urticaria, and can cause this contact dermatitis also. And as they can be as severe as anaphylactic shock. So there is one reaction called as Jerich's-Herishmer reaction, which results due to the syphilis breakdown products. So Jerich's-Herishmer reaction occurs in syphilis patients where the bacteria is broken down. Once the bacteria is broken down, there is a release of the toxic substances. This released toxic substances will cause sudden rise in the body temperature, and hence it is called as Jerich's-Herishmer reaction, which is caused due to the syphilitic bacteria byproducts or the toxins produced from the syphilis. So what are the drawbacks of this penicillin G? Penicillin G is an injection form. Okay, so poor oral efficiency should be given the parenteral route. So sir, it is susceptible to penicillinase, that is the enzyme produced by the bacteria. It has narrow spectrum of activity, and then can also cause hypersensitivity reactions such as anaphylactic shock. So this penicillin G can be destroyed by GI acid. So to overcome these problems, we have developed new penicillins, which are called as aminopenicillins and uridopenicillins and carboxypenicillins, which are gastro-resistant. Okay, so the newer penicillins are the ones which have this natural penicillin G, which is gastric acid resistant, acid labile, that is penicillin G, penicillin beta-lactamase resistant anti-staphylococcal penicillin such as clobazicillin, dicloxacillin, methicillin, and methicillin. So the extended second spectrum penicillins, we have this acid stable, that is aminopenicillin, acid labile, that is anti-pseudomonas penicillins. So acid stable aminopenicillins, we have this ampicillin, oral and parenteral, carbanicillin, parenteral, bacampicillin, oral and parenteral, ticarcillin, that is parenteral, talampicillin, that is oral and parenteral, piperacillin, that is again parenteral, amoxicillin, oral and parenteral, meslocillin, parenteral, and azmoxicillin, parenteral. So beta-lactamase inhibitors. So what happens is this bacteria over the period of time they produce two enzymes. One is penicillinase, another is beta-lactamase enzyme. This beta-lactamase enzyme can lyse this beta-lactam ring and render the antibiotics ineffective. So that's why we use the drugs which can actually block this enzyme. That is clavulanic acid, sulbactam, and tazobactam. These are actually combined with these penicillins. So beta-lactamases are the enzymes which are produced by the bacteria that open up the beta-lactam ring and inactivate the antibiotics. So beta-lactamase inhibitors, they can bind and inactivate the beta-lactamases and prevent the destruction of this beta-lactam antibiotics. So similar to penicillin G, additional effectiveness can be there with respect to the beta-lactamase added. So hence they can be named as the anti-staphylococcal penicillins. So clavulanic acid is combined with amoxicillin for both oral and parenteral use. So it is effective against the gonococci, E. coli, and the H. influenza also. Sulbactam. Okay, so first is clavulanic acid, which is combined with amoxicillin. Next is sulbactam, which is combined with the ampicillin. So it is given parenterally and used for the mixed aerobic and anaerobic infections. So it includes the orodental, abdominal, gynecological, surgical, and pelvic infections. So tazobactam is combined with piperacillin for parenteral administration. So sulbactam and tazobactam, most commonly they are used for the parenteral administration, or they are used mainly for intravenous or intravenous use. So coming to the extended spectrum penicillins, all penicillins are beta-lactamase sensitive, but ampicillin and amoxicillin are anti-acid stable. Carbapenicillin, piperacillin, piperacillin are acid labile. That means they can be destroyed by the acid and can be given by the intravenous route or the intramuscular route. So food can decrease the viability of ampicillin, and amoxicillin is better with that. Ampicillin is given 4 times daily. That's why amoxicillin is given 3 times daily. So amoxicillin and ampicillin both are effective against Streptococcus viridis and enterococci. So methicillin are less commonly used because of the nephrotoxic action. Methicillin is preferred for this parenteral route. Okay, so then we have this cloxacillin and dicloxacillin, which can be used orally. Actually, we combine this cloxacillin and dicloxacillin, okay, or ampicillin plus cloxacillin. Previously, we used to combine this ampicillin plus cloxacillin, but nowadays it has come under DPC, so they will now combine dicloxacillin plus ampicillin or amoxicillin. So resistance. So in the initial part of the class, we told that these bacteria can produce this penicillinase and beta-lactamase enzymes. So both these enzymes are helpful for the bacteria to overcome the effect of this antibiotic. So we can go shift over to next group of antibiotics. But the advent of this beta-lactamase inhibitors, that is clavulanic acid, sulbactam, tazobactam, that has decreased the incidence of the resistance. So inactivation of the beta-lactam ring by this beta-lactamase is this method is seen in case of this Staph aureus, Haemophilus influenza, and E. coli. So these bacteria produce beta-lactamase, which can hydrolyze the penicillins. Pseudomonas, Enterobacter, Neisseria gonorrhea, Moraxilla all have this broader degradation activity. So they can degrade the antibiotic faster. So resistance can also be due to the modification of the penicillin binding proteins. We have some of the bacteria such as methicillin resistant Staph aureus, MRSA, which can actually modify the penicillin binding proteins. That means the structure of transpeptidase or carboxypeptidase or endopeptidase, that is altered. Once that structure is altered, the penicillin can no longer come and bind to these enzymes. So once they cannot bind, they have low affinity for this penicillins, and reduction in the penicillin permeability the penicillin binding proteins. So bacteria reduce the antibiotics access to the PBS through coding channels. What are the examples? Which can create this mechanism is Pseudomonas aeruginosa. The coding mutant block the penicillin transfer across the outer membrane. So this is in gram-negative. What happens is, though the layer is thin, they have some coding channels through which the exchange takes place, and one of the such mechanisms, the penicillin protein will be penicillin binding proteins such as this carboxypeptidase and transpeptidase that will be accessed by this antibiotic. But now the coding channel altering will happen, and the penicillin binding protein will no longer be attacked by the antibiotics. So we should not combine this aminoglycosides or use aminoglycosides along with penicillins. So that can occur usually in case of parenteral administration, when 2 intravenous injections are there. So what they will do, sisters, they tend to mix up them and use it so that their work is reduced and they can do it faster. But such method should not be followed. Penicillin should be given separately, followed by aminoglipizide, which is given separately. So oral penicillins are antagonized by bacteriostatic antibiotics like tetracycline, chloroquine. They should be avoided. Okay, penicillins and aminoglipizide should not be mixed in a single syringe because they inactivate the sugar. So synergistic action, when there can be synergistic action. So synergistic action can be there when we use an cell wall synthesis inhibitor along with the protein synthesis inhibitor. If the cell wall synthesis inhibition takes place and now the protein synthesis inhibitor can move in easily without affected by the cell wall, it becomes synergistic combination. So what are the drugs which can inhibit the cell wall? That is penicillins. What are the drugs which can inhibit the protein synthesis? That is aminoglycosides. So synergistic combinations. One example is use of probenecid. So probenecid is a drug which decreases the excretion of penicillin in the renal tubular system. One more time, probenecid is a drug which inhibits the penicillin release or penicillin excretion from the renal tubules. So what happens when it is decreased, when it is not allowing penicillin to go out, plasma concentration of penicillin increases. So thereby it can bring about the action, penicillin can bring about the action. So probenecid prolongs the action of penicillin by decreasing its tubular secretion. Beta-lactamase inhibitors extend the spectrum of penicillins against the beta-lactamase producing bacteria. A fixed dose combination of ampicillin and or amoxicillin with chlorzoxylin has been promoted as a synergistic combination, both for post-operative and respiratory infections. So users here, we have so many users. We already learned some of the uses of the penicillin G, that is gold standard penicillins. So some of the other uses are the pneumococcal infection, streptococcal infection, staphylococcus infection, meningococcal infections, sexually transmitted disease, diphtheria, tetanus, gas gangrene, all these things. Okay, so in all such conditions, the penicillins are helpful. The penicillin prophylaxis, rheumatic fever, bacterial enteritis, all these things can be cured by this penicillin. So adverse reactions here are in the form of already we have got some of the adverse reactions: local pain, erythema, induration. Allergic reactions such as skin rashes, arthritis, serum sickness, all these things can happen. Hematopoietic disturbance, all these things can happen. So Jerich's-Erichner reaction, we told that this reaction occurs after syphilis. So I want so the students' active participation. So we start with roll number 18. You can unmute yourself and can read out the slide because I want to make these slides familiar to you. Okay, roll number 18 is there. Okay, roll number 43. So those who don't answer in the class will be taken as the ones who have just logged in and logged out. Okay, they will be marked absent. Okay, roll number 1843 who are not responding, they are just logged in and left the meeting. Okay, roll number 1.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you read out the slide?
Natural penicillins, penicillin V, acid labile, penicillin G, beta lactamase resistant, anti-staphylococcal penicillins, cloxacillin, dicloxacillin, methacillin, and nefacillin.
Thank you.
Extended
Yeah,
spectrum.
thank you. Roll number 2. Yeah. Can you continue with the extended spectrum penicillins?
Extended spectrum penicillin, acid stable, amino penicillin, acid labile, anti-pseudonormal penicillin, ampicillin, oral parenteral, carbacillin, parenteral, becampicillin, oral parenteral, ticarcillin, parenteral, talamficillin, oral parenteral,
Piperacillin,
piperacillin, amphoxicillin,
amoxicillin.
mesaloxicillin,
Amoxicillin.
azaloxicillin.
Okay, thank you. Yes, roll number 4 is there. Okay, roll number 4 is not there with us. Yes, roll number 3 is there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you read the slide? Starting natural penicillins.
Natural penicillin, penicillin B, acid labile penicillin G, beta lactamase resistant anti staphylococcal penicillin, cloxacillin, docloxacillin,
Dicloxacillin.
methicillin, nefacillin.
Thank you.
Extended
Yeah, roll number 6. Roll
Yes, sir.
Yeah, roll number 6 is there with us.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you continue with the extended spectrum penicillin?
Extended spectrum penicillin, acid stable amino penicillin, acid labile anti-pseudomonal penicillin, ampicillin oral and parenteral, carbenicillin parenteral, campicillin oral parenteral, ticarcillin parenteral, talmapicillin oral parenteral, piperacillin parenteral, amoxicillin oral parenteral, meslocillin parenteral, azlocillin parenteral.
Okay, thank you. Roll number 6 is there with us. Roll number 6 is not there with us. Okay.
Sir, I just read, sir.
You are roll number 6, huh?
Yes,
roll,
sir.
roll number 5 didn't respond. No?
Sir, I'm there, sir.
Roll number 5 is there. Okay,
Yes, sir.
yeah. So, can you tell me what is this clavulanic acid, sulbactam, tazobactam? What we are doing with them? Can you read out the slide? Roll number 5.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So first line.
Beta lactamase are enzymes produced.
Yeah.
Beta lactamase are enzymes produced by bacteria that open up the beta lactamate ring and inactivate antibiotics. Beta
Okay.
lactamase inhibitors bind
Yeah.
to and inactivate beta lactamase, preventing destruction of beta lactam antibiotics.
Okay.
Similar
thank you.
to penicillin G, additional
Yeah. So what is this beta lactamase inhibitor? Beta lactamase is produced by bacteria. Okay. Beta lactamase is produced by bacteria, which can actually act on these penicillins and render them inactive. So now we are adding this clavulanic acid, sulbactam and tazobactam along with penicillin so that they can be active. Okay. Yes, roll number 7 is there with us.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so where we are using this penicillins?
Pneumococcal infections, streptococcal infections, staphylococcal infections, meningococcal infections, sexually transmitted disorders, diphtheria, tetanus, gas gangrene, penicillin prophylaxis, rheumatic fever, bacterial endocarditis, recurrent lymphadenus.
Okay, thank you. Roll number 8 is there with us. Roll number 8 is not there. Okay, roll number 9 is there. Roll number 9 is not there. Okay. Roll number 9. Okay, roll number 10.
Yes, sir.
Yes, where do we use penicillins?
Pneumococcal infection, streptococcal infections, staphylococcal infections, meningococcal infection, sexually transmitted disorders, diphtheria, tetanus, gas gangrene, penicillin prophylaxis, rheumatic fever, bacterial endocarditis, recurrent lymphitis.
Okay. Roll number, thank you. Roll number 20 is there with us?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Roll number 20. What is Jerich's-Herxheimer reaction?
Minor reactions, local pain,
Okay.
er-
Roll number 20.
arrhythmia.
Listen to question.
Yes.
Okay. What is Jerich's-Herxheimer reaction? Have you heard this term, Jerich's-Herxheimer reaction? What is it?
No, sir.
Just now I explained about this Jerich's-Herxheimer reaction. So whenever penicillin is given to the syphilis patients, once the syphilis bacteria is broken down, there is release of this toxin products and the inflammatory mediators that will cause a reaction within the body, which is called as Jerich's-Herxheimer reaction. Okay, so it is
Yes, sir.
it is a reaction produced by the body against the syphilis byproducts. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Can you
Yes,
repeat
sir.
it? What is
Yes, sir.
Jerich's-Herxheimer reaction?
Yes, sir. When penicillin is given to these infections, this breakdown of these infections releases some toxic substances. These produce the reactions in the body are called Jerich's-Herxheimer
Okay.
reaction.
Thank you. Roll number 30 is there with us. 30. Okay. Roll number 25 is there with us.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Can you tell me what is Jerich's-Herxheimer reaction?
When penicillin is administered for syphilis, it produces a toxin, releases a toxin.
So what happens? So there is inflammatory mediator action, sudden fall in the BP or sudden rise in the blood pressure, wheel and tear reaction. All these things will happen. Okay, that is
Yes, sir.
called as Jerich's-Herxheimer reaction. It is due to the syphilis byproducts. Okay.
Yes.
Roll number 35 is there with us.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Can you name some penicillins? Can you name some penicillins? It is there on the slide. You can read it.
Natural penicillins, penicillin V, acid
Yes.
labile penicillin G,
What is
beta
the
lactamase resistant, and
What is the character of penicillin V? I told penicillin V is acid resistant. Okay, penicillin V is acid resistant. Yes. Roll number 40 is there with us. 40. 40 is not there. Okay. Roll number 45 is there with us. 45.
yes, sir.
Yeah. What does penicillin G? G stands in case of penicillin G. What is G? I told just now, no, penicillin G. G stands for gold standard penicillin. Okay. Yes. Roll number 50 is there with us. Yes. Roll number 50 is there. Okay. Roll number 50. Can you tell me what does G stands for in penicillin G? Roll number 50 is there or not? Okay. Roll number 51. Roll number 52. Roll number 53. Roll number 54. roll number 55, roll number 56, roll number 57, roll number 58, roll number 59. No one is present. Okay, they are just logging in and logging out. Okay, yes. Roll number 60 is there with us. 60. Okay, roll number 61.
Present, sir.
Yeah. Can you tell me what does G stands for in penicillin G?
Sir, G stands for gold standard.
Okay, thank you. So we told that roll number 62 is there with us. Roll number 62. Okay, roll number 63.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So here in this slide, on the last point, we have given penicillin prophylaxis. So there are 3 conditions where we give penicillin prophylaxis. What are the 3 conditions?